Always exciting talking to my next guest. It's Nathaniel Grimard, who's got the biggest fight of his career up next, August 23rd for PFL against John Caldone. Nathaniel, how you doing?
Great, man. How are you?
I'm good. And let's just start with when you first got this news, your immediate reaction and just, how excited you are.
Yeah, I was excited. They say your dreams are supposed to scare you, So once we get the call, we were a little nervous and a little hesitant, but I think it's just because it was right in front of us, and it'd be stupid for not to take that opportunity.
So was this something that, Devin and Carol Lynn had been working on for a while? Like, did you have any idea that this was around the corner?
No, I was actually booked for NEF in September, and the PFL matchmaker reached out to Matt, and I'm very fortunate to have a great relationship with NEF where he offered my name, and it worked out perfectly.
That's fantastic, man. And from, what you feel about your skill set, how it's evolved, what your coaches are telling you, your training partners, do you feel like right now, like this is the logical next step? You're ready for this?
I believe I am. It's still early in my career where, I'm not afraid to take tough tests, and I'm ready.
Well, that was the thing too. I was going to ask because, especially regionally here in New England, you don't see a lot of fighters so early on into their career getting this opportunity. This is a big deal, man. I can't think of another fighter, in the New England area that I've seen get this shot so soon in their career. Do you feel like the losses that you have experienced, that any holes that you've had, you've kind of tied those up and you're, the best fighter that you've ever been right now?
100%. Yeah. I bumped up a weight to fight Hicksonbaugh, and then I fought Gibbs as well. But I haven't lost a fight yet at 45. So I believe this is my weight class. And it's a great fight on paper. The guy's 4-1, I'm 4-2, so it's pretty similar in records.
When you look at the featherweights in the PFL, how do you think you stack up? What do you think of that division just in general?
Yeah, right now they're definitely levels above where I am, to be realistic, but it's part of the journey, and the journey is to be at that level, with the next 3 or 4 years, however long it takes. But this is the first step in the door.
What do you think of the format, the regular season, acquiring points and all that? What's your stance on that their whole format?
It's different, but I love it. I think it's different in a good way. It excites me, and that's what the dream is.
So is this just a one fight deal, or did you sign a multi-fight contract?
It's just one fight. If I impress them, then they'll look at the Challenger Series in January. So we really have to put on an exciting fight and walk out with my hand raised.
Can I ask, are you pleased with the compensation? Are they paying you well?
Yeah, it's definitely bigger than a local scene, um, but still nothing to do full time yet. So that's what we're working towards.
All right. And obviously, you stepped out of sparring to talk to me here for this interview. How is camp going? You're right in the middle of it, August 23rd. It's right around the corner.
It's great, man. We have great bodies right now at Nostos. Kyle Pufall just had a great pro win. Brody McDougal's getting that Cage Titans belt. Kyle Hill, and we have guys from KTA coming down too. So I'm getting a lot of different looks, a lot of great stand up and grappling. So I feel great going into this fight.
Yeah, you mentioned Kyle Pufall. Man, he looked really good at NEF 53. How dangerous is he?
He's dangerous, man. He hits hard. He's big for the weight, and he's a workhorse. He's not scared to stand and bang, and he's just one of the most technical guys we have in the room. So it's very fortunate to have one of those guys and work with him every day.
And I understand that you couldn't actually be at NEF 53, which is unusual for you. You're at every event, where your teammates are competing at. Did you get a chance to watch the stream, or have you got to go back and watch your teammates' performances?
Yeah, I went back and watched the stream. It was too bad I couldn't make it, but as active as I am with fighting, sometimes you needed a card off and just to have that reset. So it was much needed. We had a great fight booked for NEF, going back into another main event, and just didn't work out, but we'll get that fight eventually.
Can you divulge the name?
I don't know, but I called out Detmeyer, and that's what we had to book. So him and I have been trying to fight for about a year and a half now. So I do owe him a fight, and hopefully we can get that in at the end of the year.
All right. I wanted to ask you too about someone from Nostos that really impressed me in a loss at NEI 53, and that's Matt Jenkins. He fought Kasim Abdullah. Kasim Abdullah is very, very good, right? I mean, we've seen him in there with another one of your teammates who got a big win at NEI 53. Can you tell me a little bit more about Matt Jenkins and maybe what you think his ceiling is so early? I mean, I know this is his amateur debut, but like, how good can that kid be?
He can be very good. He's still green, where he's just learning, and this loss is just going to make him better. He has a great wrestling background. He's a little undersized for the weight, but he's working on putting in that muscle. And he works hard too. He's going to get right back in there, I'm sure, and get his hand raised, no doubt.
And obviously, the Alley Cat picked up the win. Nick Eldridge got his debut victory. How many more fighters out of Nostos that haven't made their debut are there that we're going to see and get impressed by here in the near future?
We have a lot of killers, man. And it's the younger generation. I haven't been doing this too long, but since I've been going pro, Collie Hill's going pro, Pupal has been pro, and now it's just the next wave of guys that are coming in and really making a scene for us. So Nick Eldridge, he works hard, and Alex Morris, that kid's a workhorse as well. So I think all these guys are going to be making a splash this year and in the early next year as well.
So now you're one of the more seasoned vets at the gym, right? You're a pro. You've got 6 professional fights. Are you kind of taking on that mentor role to a lot of these younger guys?
Maybe, they might look up to it that way. But at the same time, it's just I believe you have to have that white belt mentality no matter where you are in the sport, because there's always so much to learn. Even somebody guy like Nick Eldridge, he might be a blue belt and new to MMA, but that kid's got a very high level submission game where I'm always learning from him as well, and he's just a 1-0 Ami. I'm learning from everybody in the gym. It's just, we have a great group of guys. And they might look up to me, but I also look up to a lot of those guys as well.
Yeah, very good, man. Did you get a chance to hang with Joseph Holmes when he was up and hanging out at Nostos?
Yeah, I was here sparring with him in that morning. I was sparring with all the guys when they got their shakeouts in. It's just, I had a wedding that day and just wasn't able to make it.
All right. And I hear Brody McDougal gave him a little shiner. Did you happen to see that?
Bro, he's just a big dude for the weight. He's a huge 170. He's tall. He's long. Where so is Holmes. Where those are just big guys, and if we throw on leather, somebody's going to get hit hard. So
Yeah, no doubt. But Nathaniel, before we transition to PFL, I got one other question for you that has to do with NEF 53. Artur Manev made his pro debut and busted up Matt Denning, finished him early. You've got to see him fight a little bit, just from the outside looking in. I know you know the fight game very well. How good do you feel like Artur Manev can be?
yeah, I think he has all the potential in the world right now. Denning was a seasoned vet, and he went in there and did his job. So I think we'll see how he does when he gets pushed a little bit more, but he has that background where he's been competing all over the world, and competing against tough guys. You watch videos of him, he's a great athlete. So yeah, I think he's got it all right in front of him right now where he can really evolve into this great fighter.
And I know he's fought at, different weight classes and whatnot, but is that a fight that you think we could see from you at some point in the, next few fights? Has that ever crossed your mind?
Not really, but I'll tell you right now, I'm not afraid to take those risks and fight tough guys. I'm 4-2, and I'm not trying to pad my record to get to 8-2 or whatever. I'm trying to fight good guys, bump up in weights, taking short notice fights for PFL. If that's something Matt wants to entertain, I wouldn't say no to it.
I love it, man. Let's talk about August 23rd. Again, you're making your debut for PFL. It's at the theater at Madison Square Garden in New York. I mean, how cool is that? You're going to be fighting in Madison Square Garden. That's got to be kind of a surreal feeling.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a lot of people's dreams, and now it's just making those dreams become reality. So I'm excited.
So what's the deal for travel? And I assume they're setting you up. Do you know what that whole plan is going to look like?
It's different, man, with big promotions. They really take care of you. So we got 5 nights covered going down there. So we're gonna go be down there on Saturday and probably head out on Thursday or so after the fight. So it'll be good to get down there, feel out the environment, and get the weight off because the training's pretty much done at that point. And yeah, it's only like 5 weeks out, so it'll come fast.
And who will be in your corner come fight night? Who will be actually traveling with you and there just as your teammates prepping you, getting you ready?
We're still trying to figure it out, just because we just signed the contract 3 or 4 days ago. Um, but I mean, obviously, Devin, Carolyn will be traveling with us. Nick Miles, he's a great striking coach. And we'll figure out that third corner with the next few days to see who can really make it because the card's on a Wednesday, which is it's different. A lot of guys have full-time jobs. So we're still figuring that out.
And again, I know that this is still a little ways out, but when you think about it, making that walk and everything, do you feel like it's going to be any different? Do you think that the nerves are going to hit you any different, or are you expecting it just to be like any other fighting for any other promotion?
Uh, it probably will hit me different just because it's on the big stage. There will be a little bit more nervous, but at the same time, I had to treat this any other fight. I train hard for every fight camp if it's an NEF or not. So in my mind, it's cool for the PFL, but at the same time, it's just another fight. It's just another cage. So I just gotta not have that mentality of having everything around me like bug me. I just had that tunnel vision, go in there and fight my ass off.
What do you think of your opponent, John Caldone? Very similar record. He's 4-1. He has been finished via punches before. He's got 2 UD wins, 2 finishes himself. What do you think he brings to the table?
I think he's my toughest fight yet. I think he's gonna come to fight. You watch the kid's fights, he loves to scrap. He's just coming in and he doesn't care if he's getting hit. He's just trying to knock you out. He's strong. He's got great wrestling defense. So we're gonna go there and just be the better fighter.
And you say he's got good wrestling defense. I mean, you're a great wrestler yourself. Do you feel like you're going to be able to get him to the ground, or do you expect this maybe to be a stand and bang fight?
I expect to get him to the ground. I saw him do very well against some wrestlers, just kind of sprawl and brawl, but I'm a different fighter than that. I'll get him down.
And if you do you anticipate this to be kind of like a grind? We've seen you grind the hell out of fighters, in fights past. Do you expect to do that round in and round out and get your hand raised, via UD, or do you think you get him out of there and you finish him?
I'm not scared to strike with this guy either. It's the PFL where you have to put in exciting fights to bring him back. So we've been working on the striking a lot. We do this every day where I will strike with this kid. If I want to take him down, I'm going to be shooting. He's got great wrestling defense, but he's not a college wrestler. He doesn't have that technique and chain wrestling that I do. So if I do get him down, I think it's my world. But I'm not scared to push the pace. If we stand and bang for 15 minutes, then that's fine. I've been fighting 15 minutes for almost 2 years now. So I'm prepared for that.
And see what you just said too. That's the tricky thing about PFL, because you get more points by getting a finish early, right? But really, at the end of the day, the most important thing is to get your hand raised and get the win. So how are you kind of measuring that as you go into this fight?
It doesn't matter if I get the points or not. I'm not in the tournament. It's just I gotta get this win and I gotta do it in exciting fashion. If it's by UD, then I better beat this guy up for 15 minutes. I know he's coming to finish me with an exciting fashion too. So we just really got to check all the boxes off come fight night and stay sharp and perfect and just win at all costs.
I love it, man. I can't wait to see you in there, Nathaniel. You definitely deserve it. When you sent me the screenshot, the news, I was so pumped for you, man. Just very, very happy. You're a good dude. You're a great fighter, and like you said, dreams coming to reality, my man. Again, August 23rd, Nathaniel Grimard PFL debut against John Caldone. Always great talking to you, buddy. Before we do sign off, anyone you want to thank, any sponsors you want to plug? The floor is yours.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me. I'm very grateful for this opportunity. Everything that NEF has done and Matt Peterson, that's a great promotion. Very thankful for Nostos MMA and my sponsors, Higgins Motor Pool. And we got a couple other sponsors that we're working on, and I'll make sure to show them love soon as well.